Hey, welcome back to my channel. This is Tynetta Irene from Sting Beauty, and today I'm going to show you guys how to do this cute, simple Christmas set. So I started out with her nails already prepped. The tips have been applied and shaped, and I'm just going to apply a thin coat of clear acrylic, and that's just to keep the nails from lifting and to serve as a protective base under the colored acrylic. I'm going to apply a clear coat on the ring finger as well because I'm putting some glitter on this nail. And then I'm going to do the middle finger. The middle finger, we're doing a V-tip. So basically you just want to apply your bead, drag it down, and kind of use your brush to shape it in the shape of a V. Once the acrylic starts to harden, you can use an X-Acto knife and get that shape nice and precise. For me, I dip the X-Acto knife in monomer so that none of the acrylic will stick to the knife while I'm getting the cut in. Now I'm just applying the cuticle bead close to the cuticle area and moving on. The pointer finger is just going to be completely nude. The nude color that I'm using is Nude Panther by Not Polish. So I'm just going to go ahead and apply that to her pointer finger, making sure that the nail is as thick as I need it, and making sure that the sidewalls are nice and clean. And I'm going to apply the cuticle bead, doing the same, just making sure there's no acrylic on her skin. And I'm going to do the same V-tip design on her thumb. So again, I'm going to apply my first bead, drag it down the nail, and shape it into the V shape with my brush. Once the acrylic starts to set up a little bit, I'm going to use the X-Acto knife, dip it in some monomer, and come in and slice off the excess on the sides so I can get those lines as straight as possible. And then I'm going to just apply my last bead, which is a cuticle bead, and brush that down, blend that in with the first bead. And here I was just making that pink area just a little bit thicker. Okay, so for me, I don't like to do glitter until I'm done with all the solid colors, just so that I can make sure that the glitter doesn't get mixed in with the solid colors. So you'll notice that I always do my glitter colors last. This glitter is from Creation. It's just some fairy flakes. And then this is just a random green glitter that I got from my local art supply store, like Hobby Lobby or Michael's or whatever. And I'm just applying that green directly over the green that we put down. Once your glitter has dried, you can go ahead and encapsulate. So the reason why I basically just covered up the entire green color that I put down before, the first green color was just a background, just so that if there's any gaps in between the green glitter, it won't be so noticeable because it's green as well. So like I said, you want to encapsulate all your glitter. Encapsulation protects the design when you're filing the nail, and it also provides the structure of the nail, the clear acrylic. So before I apply the color for the V-tips, I'm going to use my 100 grit file and just refine that shape a little bit more, make sure everything is nice and perfect. And this is the same thing that you do when you're doing like a French tip. This is how you get that crisp line. So I'm using red on these nails for the V-tips. Christmas red, a nice bright red color. And basically I'm just filling in the gaps on the side of the nail and on the tip of the nail that's left. And it is okay if you go over the pink color, because when we file that off, when we go to shaping, it's going to remove the color and it's going to leave a nice sharp line. You don't have to go on top of the pink color, but you do want to make sure that the red is pushed up completely against the pink color to make sure that there's no gaps or anything. So once we let the acrylic dry, I'm going to use a 100 grit file to just refine the shape on all the nails. So the first thing I'll do is straighten out the tip of the nail, and then I'll straighten out the sides of the nail, making sure that it is the shape that my client wants. This client wanted square, so I'm just making sure everything is nice and straight. You can also see me removing any excess material from underneath the nails. You want to make sure that the sides and underneath the nails are clean as well. You don't want your clients to have to leave and like be picking stuff out from under their nails. You want everything as nice and clean as possible before they leave your table. So you can see once I finish shaping one nail, I compare it with the other nails that I shaped just to make sure everything is consistent and everything is identical. Okay, I'm just doing the same thing on the thumb. Sorry I got out the frame a little bit, but you know, gotta get it in shape, okay? The client comes first, videos are second. Okay, so now we're moving on to the smoothing process. Basically, you're just smoothing out the top of the nail, making sure that the cuticle area isn't too bulky, making sure that there's no lumps in the nail. And if the nail is too thick, this is the time that you will go ahead and debulk that. So I'm using a fine carbide bit with the sharp edge. I like to use the sharp edge because it allows me to go right up to the cuticle area and get everything nice and clean, nice and flush. You do have to be careful with this because if you're working too fast, you can cut them. So with it being so sharp, you just have to go around the cuticle area very slowly. And you can see here, when I go over the surface, it removes any of that red that got on top of the pink, and it just reveals that real cute, clean, sexy V-tip. And I'm just going back and forth to remove any of that extra acrylic if I feel like the nail is too thick in any areas. Clean up the cuticle area. And again, here you can see when you go over the surface of the nail, it removes the red off the pink and it just leaves such a nice crisp line. That's probably my favorite part, doing like French tip or V-tips, just revealing that crisp line. And when I flipped her hand over, I kind of noticed that these two nails were still a little bit thick in a certain area, so I just went back over them again. If anything is ever out of order or you feel like it's not how you like it, don't be afraid to go back to the previous step. So now I'm using the same sanding band that I used to prep her nails with, and I'm going around the cuticle area one more time. This is how I get my nails to look so flush and clean at the cuticle area. This gets in even closer than the carbide bit, and it's not as sharp, so it's not going to cut them. Then we're going to just buff the nails, making sure everything is nice and smooth. You make sure you buff the nails because that's going to remove any lines or indents that the electric file left on the nail. So this is pretty much the last step as far as the surface of the nails goes. And lately I've been doing one more step. Once I get everything nice and buffed, I just go back in and refine the shape one more time. This is just to help anything that might have gotten misshapen using the electric file, or the buffer might have softened up some edges. I just go back in and reshape everything just real lightly one more time. And I always like to flip their hands over. This helps me to see that the tip is straight as it needs to be. Sometimes holding their hand the other way, you don't really get to see how straight it is. So yeah, just flip the hand over just to make sure. So moving on to the design, I'm going to be drawing a snowflake over the glitter, over this iridescent glitter. Snowflakes are not the easiest thing for me. I could draw stuff, but I guess when it's like a exact pattern or something, for some reason those are hard for me. So basically for a snowflake, I'll just draw 4 lines, just intersecting in the middle to make 8 lines, just making sure they're even as possible. And then you could just make any design that you want on those 8 lines. It's easier if you have a picture of a snowflake that you could just copy. But since I was recording on my phone, I kind of was freehanding it. But yeah, snowflakes are not the easiest for me, but this one still came out looking pretty okay. It looked like a snowflake, so that's all that mattered. So I'm just using some white gel polish. And once I get it how I like, I'm just gonna have her put her hand in the lamp for 30 seconds to cure this gel polish so that the design won't move while I'm finishing the rest of the nails. So before I move on to the Christmas tree design on the pointer finger, I'm going to top coat the rest of her nails. I'm doing this so that when I use the glitter, it doesn't get on the nails, and then I'll have little green glitter underneath the top coat on like the pink and red nail or something like that. So that just protects the glitter from getting onto the nails that you don't want glitter. So anytime I do a sugar nail or something like that, I always top coat all of the rest of the nails first, and then I'll use the loose glitter. So here I'm just using some dark green polish, gel polish, to put a rough shape of a Christmas tree. And I'm using the same loose glitter that I used on her pinky finger. And I'm just going to tap that over the gel while it's still wet. And then I cured that. And then I'm going to brush the extra glitter off, putting some gold gel polish down, and then I'm just doing the same thing using a gold glitter. I'm going to cure that and then brush off the excess glitter, and here you have it. So then I'm just going to top coat over everything just to make sure everything is nice and sealed in. So here's the finished product. Everything is nice and clean and in shape like we like it. She wanted something that was Christmassy without being over the top, so I think we achieved that. If you like this video, please give me a big thumbs up and subscribe, and I will talk to you guys later.